Coming off the heels of some great PS1 collections and remasters released on the Nintendo Switch, such as Suikoden and Grandia, I thought it would be fun to come on today and talk about 5 collections, remasters from the PS1 that I would love to see come to the Nintendo Switch 2. So these are collections on the PS1 that have multiple entries in the series, and in no particular order. Let's start with number 5, Dino Crisis. Now, Dino Crisis was released by Capcom. There's 2 games on the PS1, Dino Crisis 1 and 2. And of the two, I've got to say the first is my favorite. And Dino Crisis is an action survival horror style game. It's very similar to something like Resident Evil, except instead of fighting zombies, you'll be fighting dinosaurs. Thus the name Dino Crisis. And the game holds up quite well today. The controls are a little wonky, but that's something that could be fixed. But overall, it's very fun to traverse through the levels, through the factories, through the kind of labs, fighting dinosaurs, solving puzzles. A great game to play in October this month if you're looking for something on the scarier side, the more horror, action, survival horror side. But just love this game. The combat's really good. You'll get a number of awesome weapons as you progress through the game, pistols, shotguns, etc. You'll be collecting items to heal. So just a very Resident Evil style game with a different setting, fighting dinosaurs. And to me, this was always like the Jurassic Park game we were looking for, because all the Jurassic Park games back in the day kind of sucked. But Dino Crisis came out and really brought a great dinosaur themed style game. Now, the second game in this series really veered off in a bit of a different direction. It's a lot more action focused than survival horror focused, but still a fun game nonetheless. Just don't expect it to be exactly the same as the first game, but it's good to have a little bit of variety. I still enjoyed it for what it was. So to see both Dino Crisis 1 and 2 come to the Nintendo Switch 2 would be awesome. So that's the first collection I would like to see.
That's disgusting.
Moving on to number 4, I have to pick and talk about Alundra. Now, Alundra is an awesome game on the PS1. Absolutely loved it when I first played it. And the best way I could describe Alundra is a Zelda clone. So it's an action RPG style game. It's 2D, probably most resembling something like A Link to the Past. And in this game, you will notice a lot of things copied from Zelda. So the way you chop bushes, you even start the game washing up on a beach, just like a Zelda game. But overall, they did it right, so I'm not mad about it. To have a Zelda style game on the PS1 was awesome. So I would love to see Alundra come to the Switch too. When you play this game, you will definitely get that Zelda vibe. You'll be collecting different items, fighting different enemies, bosses. You'll even be unlocking warps throughout the world to make it easier to travel to different parts on the world map. So Alundra's a great game, and I think what sets it apart from Zelda is the level of difficulty. So I always found this game way harder than any Zelda game, especially the puzzles. The puzzles in this game, some of them can be extremely difficult, and I would say if you're playing this, you will almost definitely need a strategy guide at some point. So I even went eventually and picked up this guide right here, the official strategy guide for Alundra, which is pretty cool. Never opened this one yet, but pretty cool to have nonetheless. So if you've never played Alundra, definitely recommend that. Alundra 2 came out and kind of veered off into a different direction. So they went from 2D to 3D. And I think when it was released, it wasn't received very well because people were expecting and wanted more of Alundra 1, and that's not what they got with Alundra 2. But I think if you take it as its own game, it still holds up pretty well. It's fun, the combat's fun, the characters are cool, and I really enjoyed it for what it was. But it's not quite on the same level as Alundra 1, but to get both these games as a collection on the Switch 2 would be a dream for me because Alundra is one of my favorite PS1 games of all time. Now, coming in at number 3, a fighting series on the PS1, some of the best fighting games of all time, and that is Tekken. So Tekken 1, 2, and 3 Let's get a collection of those games and bring them to the Switch 2. I have no idea why we haven't seen a Tekken game yet on the Switch, but I think now's the perfect time to create that collection and release it on the Switch too. We've seen so many fighting game collections dropped on the Switch, Marvel vs. Capcom, Street Fighter collections, etc., etc. The list goes on. There's just so many. There's just so many that it just boggles my mind why we haven't gotten a Tekken collection, because Tekken is one of the best fighting game series of all time. My favorite personally is Street Fighter, but I think Tekken comes in there right at number 2 for me. So to get these games on the Switch 2 would be awesome. If they added some kind of online multiplayer, that would be great. But I just love the fighting style in Tekken. It's a little bit slower paced, feels a little bit more realistic than other games like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. And the characters are awesome. The levels are awesome. My favorite in this series is Tekken 2. And I love the stage in Europe where, as you're fighting, you can see things in the background on the green fields like castles. Just looks awesome. So, some great stages, some great characters, great fighting. And my favorite thing about these old fighting games is the unlockables. I love playing and unlocking characters, and that's something they've got done away with in a lot of fighting games today. I don't know why, but let's get this collection, let's play, let's unlock some characters again. And if we get that online aspect to it, I think this game would do really well, and it would be a must play, must pick up for me on the Nintendo Switch 2.
Perfect! You win!
Now, coming to number 2, another horror style game, action RPG, and that is Parasite Eve, an all time classic, one of my favorites on the PS1. And I really love this game. Again, similar style game to Resident Evil, except what's different here is really the combat style. So it's more of a turn based style combat, although not exactly turn based. But you have a gauge, and when your gauge is full, you can attack. While you're fighting enemies, you're kind of stuck in a little arena with them, so you can't just run or escape. Um, but you can move around while you're fighting, so you can dodge attacks. And then when it's your turn, you can attack yourself. And it's a really great game. You'll get special abilities. You'll be able to collect a lot of different weapons, upgrade them, different items. The environments in this game is really cool. So you'll be going through different buildings, museums, parks, all around New York City. And this game has one of the most iconic intros, I think, of any PS1 game. When you see that Statue of Liberty, the snow's coming down, the statue's crying blood, just an incredible game, and the story is really deep as well. It's pretty scientific, but basically there's this mitochondria Eve, and it's affecting the genetic makeup of all these creatures. So you'll be fighting things like rats and dogs, except they'll transform into these kind of grotesque monsters. And there's some really cool enemies in this game. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but Parasite Eve, for me, one of the best PS1 games, and would love to see this series come to the Switch 2. The second game in the series I've never actually played. I've seen some footage of it, and it looks good. I've heard it's good, but I think most people would agree that it's not as good as Parasite Eve 1. But with that said, that's one of the reasons why I want to get this collection, because I've never played the second game. So for me, this is a bit of a selfish pick, but I have heard that both games are good. So let's get a Parasite Eve remaster collection brought to the Switch 2. Now, number 1 pick for me, and this is probably my favorite on the list, the one that I would love to see the most, and that is the Twisted Metal series. So, Twisted Metal 1, 2, and 3. These were some of my favorite games growing up as a child. I had all of them, played them tons, loved to play them multiplayer with my friends, and this game was just so much fun. Uh, it's basically a battle royale style game where where you play as a vehicle, get different items, missiles, guns, etc. And all you have to do is kill everybody else. But it's so fun, the different weapons you can get. Each of the characters have their own special abilities. My favorite character was Axel. I also really loved Outlaw, the police car. That lightning special was one of my favorites. But These games were just so good, so much fun, and it's almost, it's a forgotten series. We did get Twisted Metal Black, which I really loved as well. But I think if we could get a remaster of Twisted Metal 1, 2, and 3, bring an online element to the game, this would do really well. And like I would take this over Mario Kart World any day. Give me Twisted Metal, bring it to the Switch too, and that's gonna sell. So I don't know why we've never seen that yet, because these games were just some of the most fun games back in the day. I think the only problem with it now is that it doesn't hold up that well graphically. So the graphics don't look great, but that's something that can be improved. The gameplay itself, still top notch. The characters in the game are awesome. The music in the game's awesome. The levels in the game are awesome. Twisted Metal 2 is my favorite. I love to play in Paris around the Eiffel Tower. But if you've never played a Twisted Metal game, you're missing out. So that's it. That's my top 5 collection remasters from the PlayStation 1 that I would love to see brought to the Switch 2. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you would love to see on the Switch 2. Is there any collections I forgot? Drop a comment, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Have a good day.